Witches laugh. Oh my gosh. Here I am, guys. Where have I been? Where have I been? Where have you been? I have been having a growth spurt, and I will be making several lives to share that with you. I made a community post today that I'm going to be talking about the witch's broom. Samhain, happy Samhain, witches. And that I was going to make a video sometime before midnight. But it takes me a while to get ready. Part of that has to do with my health. I've been doing things to improve my health. I've been learning quite a lot of things. And this is my entryway table. If you haven't seen the short, I am dark feminine. And so I'm starting to really incorporate that throughout my residence. This is just a narrow entryway table. Almost everything is from the Dollar Tree. I've accumulated things over the years. And that's really all it takes, is patience. $1 here, $1 there. This is the Hocus Pocus Misting Cauldron. This was from the plus section, $5. I got a very high amount of views on my entryway, similar to when I did my kitchen island this way on a glass table. So I've also colored my hair today. That's another story when it comes to my health. And this is just a really beautiful, let me show you, really, really beautiful black pumpkin with rhinestones and the spider web design. So I'm about incorporating spider webs. There's the web, and underneath it is actually these swirls on the base of this candle holder. I choose a lot of candle holders for some reason. I have been finding them and choosing them with these swirls on them, which not only represent the goddess, but to me also the Naga. So that's another thing I'm going to be talking to you about. This is a recent purchase I made at the Dollar Tree to add some sparkle. So I use purples and lavenders and blacks. Everything here is from the Dollar Tree. Again, accumulated over several years. This was $5. It rang up at 7 and I told them, no, the sticker says 5. So you got to watch how things are being rung up. The oil warmer, again, from the Dollar Tree. The vase is from the Dollar Tree. The pumpkins are from the Dollar Tree. Candles in the background here from the Dollar Tree. The candelabra might be from Walmart, I'm not sure. And then I have an electric ball here, which is not plugged in. And it is from Walmart. So welcome to my entryway table. And I'm hoping I will get some people to show up, because tonight I'm going to wear my hat. First wanted you to see that I've colored my hair. Okay. That takes a while. And then this is the veil. I think I'm just going to pull it up. This is from one of the Halloween stores like Spirit Halloween or Halloween Express. And it was the first really, really nice hat that I purchased, because the other ones I had were from the local discount stores, like, like Walgreens out here, they call them the Lewis store. And just before or just after Halloween, they're like 60% off, so I could finally afford it. So it's got the veil, and of course it's got the spiders. So I am all about the dark feminine and the black. Oh, there's the feathers. Do you see the feathers? And I actually was interested in that many, many years ago. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know exactly how to get started in doing that with all these different shades. I was inspired by the decor on the show Wednesday. I've been watching the show Wednesday. Something told me to purchase Netflix and watch it, and I just absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it, because there's so much there that pertains to what witches are and what we do. I'm sorry about the dishwasher. Let me turn it off. Oh, I thought it would be done by the time I got ready. All right. It is about 10 o'clock. So I posted on my community post that I would be here before midnight. It's 10 o'clock. Maybe you're getting ready to do something. I don't know. Like I said, I've been away for about a month and a half, but I have been having a growth spurt in several different areas. So I will be coming on to make lives and sharing that. Tonight, of course, I want to talk about where does the expression flying on a broomstick come from? And I have recently been learning. The interesting thing is, when I went to the at-home store to get some candles, they have some really good double action candles there. I've had remarkable images be produced in the candle wax with these particular reversible candles. And in that, I have been able to work to remove the negative things that I am shown, I am given from spirit and the flame in the image, and heal it. So there's a particular way to do all of this, and it's not an image that I've ever heard about that would ever show up. I mean, I never really know what's going to show up. So witches are about divining, about being an oracle, receiving images, impressions, using tarot, using different tools. So I, went into the store, and I finally found the candles on an end cap. And then up at the counter, they had these tiny little brooms. And I thought, okay, that's really tiny. But mine is missing. I actually was too tired to finish taking anything else off the wall. I had a larger whisk, like a mini broom, nailed up above my front door on the inside of the apartment for protection. So that is something you can do. Many, many years ago, when I was in my early 20s, I started nailing rattan things, baskets, placemats, and I found a whisk broom. But it was larger and it had more flexible bristles. I don't know what it was made of. and I hung it. I nailed it on the wall. So that was my first besom. And then the other besom I've left at the apartment. And this is my third, but Spirit told me, get it, okay? It's not a splurge. It's one of the symbols of the witch, like the hat. So, as you may or may not know, I have been working on a website since I relocated to this residence where I am right now in June of last year. And June of this year, I really worked on it more. Not only that, I had a creative burst to make even more oils than I had when I had my Etsy shop. So I have a shop on Ko-Fi, which is Ko-Fi, and it is for casting cauldron. It is Ko-Fi, Ko-Fi, and I don't know if it's .com, but then there's a / casting cauldron, and then there's a / shop. And there you will find all my handcrafted oils. So what I want to talk about is first, or second of all, how the witch's broom was used. Oh, hello! Yay! Somebody's here. Blessed be. Happy Samhain. Oh, they're gone. All right, it's the same one or two people that always come and go. How it was actually used and why the expression flying on a broom came about. You may know, or maybe I'll be able to share something with you that you didn't know. They used a small broom, okay, and this can be hung on a hook or a nail. It's basically a whisk, and I'm going to show you why. This was a way that they used to actually distribute the hallucinogens that they were going to use in order to astral travel, especially during this time of year. This is the season of the witch. This is the time when the veil gets thinner and we're able to develop our clairvoyance, or you're becoming more clairvoyant. You are tapping into the ether because we have more darkness and less daylight. And so a lot of us actually end up growing over the years as we spend time in this dark period. Some of the herbs I'll talk about now that I have learned about, and some of them that I've used, are from the poison path. That's not a path that I have actually stepped on and studied to use yet, but Spirit introduced me to it, and I'll tell you how in a minute. One of the herbs is belladonna, and you might be familiar with this from the movie with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, where her boyfriend was so amorous that she had to put several pieces of belladonna in his alcohol, and eventually it was too much and it killed him. So this is a very dangerous poisonous plant. You have to know what you're doing, and I don't think it's really very easy to get. The next one is wormwood. Before I forget, bakur, something like that. I'm not familiar with that one. Mugwort and mandrake. That's another one. It's very difficult to get. It's very difficult to source a really reliable source. But if you've been in this community long enough, you know who's legit and who, is going to have connections to people that have the really genuine belladonna and mandrake when they get it. So now I'll tell you about my story once again with wormwood. There was a bush in front of the lot where we had to put our mobile home many years ago. I don't know how they did it. I think they went around it and then weaved the very long mobile home onto the lot, set it up, and connected everything. I need my drink. And I was spending time outside. It was summertime, and so it was pretty warm. And as I was outside, what the heck? Oh, that's not right. The heat from this bush that was in front of the house was, getting the fumes to come. I was right in front of the bush. We had a very tiny front yard. And so we were landscaping, I think. That's what it was. Putting rocks. And a neighbor had given us some plastic edging. So we were putting that all around. Now we had a very long, narrow mobile home. It was 14 feet wide. This bush was 14 feet wide. The base was ginormous. And I loved it because of the pretty purple flowers. If you know me, I love purple. So I was out there breathing the fumes. Now, at that time, I had already been stepping on the path. I had been led to buy my tools, build an altar, and I was working. I would be reading my tarot cards at night, and then I would light a candle and gaze at the reflection. But I had been, outside exposed to the wormwood. I had no idea whatsoever that it was working on me through my respiratory system and having me just, read Akashic records like crazy. This went on for weeks. And I had at that time joined a witches group, and I jokingly said I live in the astral plane. And then when we received a letter that said we had a noxious, poisonous plant in front of our mobile home, and we either had to get rid of it or we would get a $100 fine from the city, we had to go to the office and ask, well, what is it? We inherited it, Somehow we found out it was wormwood. If I had known that that's what was affecting me, I would have chopped off all of the beautiful flowers and branches and preserved it like it was treasure. So it is a very useful tool if you need to divine information, right? And you're reading Akashic records. And generally for me, if you've been following me, you know that I'm basically working to improve my life, solve problems, and alchemize my own self. And that did happen before I stepped on the path. That's another story. So, lesson learned. Now, I purchased mugwort because that is the sister or the cousin, however you want to call it. And it is not the stronger version. It is the lesser version. It does not have the, I can't think of it now, the particular compounds that are considered, maybe poisonous. But mugwort is a very popular one. So that is something that has been used throughout history by the witches. And then there's a particular way that they would distribute these herbs. And I'm going to show you that now. Nobody's here. I did post that I was going to have a one-day sale on my psychic eye oil. All right, so let me show you what mugwort looks like, okay? Be right back. Okay, this is mugwort. I've shown it once or twice before. It's called mugwort loose leaf. And this is what's used in flying ointments. I made a short showing that I was creating a new batch of my psychic eye oil. And in that short, I showed myself taking out the mugwort. And I've described it as kind of mossy. There's not a super strong smell. And you do have to keep things closed up, because after about a year or two, they start to lose their potency. But you know, that right there is one of the main herbs. And a lot of times they would use just one. If they had just the mugwort, how they would distribute it would be to get either some fat or some kind of an oil. And they would rub their hands together. And they would take some of the mugwort, mix it in with that carrier oil. And once it all got really, really nice and warm and they could smell it, they would take their broom. Now this, mind you, this is, they've set their intention, whatever it is that they want to do, flying in the astral plane, either to visit a deceased loved one, to take a mental vacation to another city or country, to release anxiety from the body, or to gather information on, you know, another village that might be plotting against them, or a particular herb that spirit could show them that could help an ailment. And then they would take the whisk and they would run it over their hands to get it onto the whisk. And they would waft it under their nose. The quickest way to get anything into the bloodstream is through the respiratory system. Hello! And then their pulse points. This is a rough whisk. This one actually has cinnamon on it. And then the other pulse points, which are, you know, over here. And maybe behind their knees. And I would say, it makes sense to me, on their feet. Hi, hello. Happy Samhain. Happy New Year. On the bottom of their feet. And whether they had socks or not, I don't know. But there you go. This is where the expression flying on a broom comes from. Now, they would also probably clean the space before they did that, right? Going from east to west, or widdershins all around them before they started doing this work. And then they would lay down and go to sleep. Now, in modern days, we have, of course, diffusers. And this is how I distribute essential oils every single day. They're extremely helpful for me to uh, antimicrobial for my residents here. It's a small place. I had one in the bathroom also. I have a cat box. That one just broke, so I have to get another one. This is my psychic eye oil. So if you saw my community post when I invited you to come here tonight, that I would put this on sale if you wanted to get it for the next 24 hours. Inside the psychic eye oil is the mugwort. There is some few drops of jasmine oil, which is lunar. And then there's bay leaf for protection and for granting wishes. It's in a very light oil, so you can do like this and put it on your third eye, your throat, your pulse points, the back of your neck, at the base of your skull, behind your knees, on your feet. And this is the label, and it is on my shop. I think the link is in the bio here. And another way that you can use this oil is in an oil warmer. You get a tea light candle, you light it in the bottom, and you put a few drops up here. You cannot use this on charcoal, so this would be another way to get it into your respiratory system. Because it's an oil, I should say a carrier oil, you cannot put this in a diffuser, so you've got to find some other ways to use it. Now, I have a friend who's been using it for about 2 years. She has a singing bowl, and she has purchased recently her second bottle. And she absolutely loves it. She loves the smell. Mugwort is not really what she's smelling. She's smelling the jasmine. And she uses it for her singing bowl meditation time. She's on her second bottle. So that's primarily what you would smell. And it's not heavy. I don't make my oils to be very heavy smelling, except for my banishing oil. All right, so oil warmer on your body, anointing yourself, anointing your feet, your pulse points. If you want, you could put it on the tip of a whisk broom to do what the witches did years ago, and do it that way. What else? Oh, on a candle. Okay, these are stuck on a candle, obviously, anointing a candle. You put a few drops to anoint the candle, or you can put it in your hand and you can anoint the candle that way. And then when the candle burns, the fumes will come up as the candle is burning. Also, I wanted to say how happy I am that I'm up to 911 subscribers. Yes, it's taken 7 years. And the funny thing is, I've been away for a month and haven't made any videos, and I've still gained subscribers. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Tonight, on a special occasion, I am wearing my hat, and I talked about it. Now's the time to ask me questions, please, if you have any. Let me get my computer. For those of you that are here, to keep my word, I'm going to edit the Psychic Eye Oil on my website. It's $20, which is a very good price because, I set the intention, and there's some of my energy that goes into all of my oils. And I think it's actually helped my friend connect to me, because one day I was praying for a certain amount of money and she received a message intuitively. So it helps her open up intuitively as well. And she ended up giving me that amount of money. Now, I've also talked to her about paying it forward. That's something that I think is a really good thing for everybody to do. It's like insurance. And where's the price? If you decide to buy it today instead of $20, and I always have free shipping, guys. All right. I'm going to let you have it for $17. That way, if you have not experienced yet what it is to use any type of a psychic eye oil, you can get this and you can use it. Now, just like with anything, when we are starting a new practice or we are aligning ourselves with a new deity, it can take at least a month, maybe 2, for you to actually start, feeling a strong connection. My friend did not actually feel a connection to me until I think her first bottle was almost empty, or I had given her a second bottle. She was on her second bottle. I don't remember. But her brother had died, and she's not yet ready to call herself a witch. She's been extremely curious about me and everything I do. She talks about how, Sabrina, you live it every single day. It's who I am. And she was very, very sad for too many days. And I said, go upstairs into your she cave, your attic that you've turned into your singing bowl meditation place, and pull out your singing bowl, light a candle, and put on the psychic eye oil. Play that singing bowl, and don't leave there until you really feel like you're feeling better. A couple days later, I asked her, are you feeling better? She said, yes, thank you so much for telling me to go upstairs and do that. So this can help us feel a stronger connection to our higher self. And there you go, $17 for the next 24 hours if you want to get your own handmade bottle made by me with my intention and my knowledge. And that's it for tonight. I thank you very much for stopping by. Please, if you have a question, you can leave one after I close the live. And I will be making a few more lives to share what I have learned about snake current energy and my experience in working with it since I really, really connected to it about a year ago. And also my health journey and what I have learned about a couple of herbs that I'm using in a different way than I've ever used before, how my health is improving, several things that I am having to do that I have learned to reverse some of the damage and, let my body heal. But the body is really wonderful. Even if you've been very, very sick, there are things that a lot of witches are shown to use in even a different way than they've used before to heal an ailment, and the body starts to heal within a couple of days. So those are the 2 other things that I'm going to come on and be talking to you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please give this video a like. I'm working to get up to 1,000 subscribers at least. I don't know how much longer I'll be making videos, but I do like to come on when spirit moves. If I've been away for a month or 2 and I've been having another growth spurt, spiritually and physically, this is part of the bloodline of being a witch. We have a lot of access to knowledge in other realms, many times that doctors and nutritionists don't necessarily know. All right, Namaste, blessed be. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, share, subscribe, and let's get this channel to 1,000. Happy Samhain.